Here I have a recording of real drums that I recorded in Abbey Road Studio 3, I seem to remember. Okay, let's hear it with the Freqtube bypassed. Okay, I've got a setting on the Freqtube that I started with the gentle drum fattener preset, and I've just tweaked it to my liking. So it is still quite gentle. There's a little bit of an edge to it. In context with the rest of the band, I think it would work quite well. Let's hear it. I'm going to flick the bypass in and out. When the bypass is lit up, the Freqtube is inactive. So active, inactive. Here we go. I'll start with the bypass in. So the Freqtube is bypassed. Okay, so the toms are really making it rattle a bit when the Freqtube is in. What I'll do now is let's just put it back in again, and I'm going to explore the controls. So we've got the drive, and I've put the plus 18 dB button in so I can get more than the normal 12 of drive. So this would make it plus 13 according to my mathematics. So it's just one more. And one more is often one better. I'm using the E83cc tubes, but we might try the alternative 1287. So we've got the harmonics down here, and if the input were a sine wave, this is what would happen to it. Okay, I've forgotten where I started, but I'm sure I'll find it again. And this is a representation of the harmonics themselves. Here we've got the analog mix. And in this case, I'm not using any of the dry signal. I'm using all of the wet signal. And I'm controlling the level of the warmth, shall we call it? Distortion, you might call it. Just using the drive control. And unless we use these filters, it generally makes sense to do that, I think. So let's listen to it again, and I'll tweak the controls and see what we get. Okay, when this light comes on, it's showing that we're clipping the converters inside the Freqtube. So it's got digital to analog converters because obviously the valves need an analog signal, then analog to digital converters to get it back into the computer. And generally, we wouldn't want to clip that. But if you like the sound of it, you are perfectly welcome to use it. Personally, I don't. There's definitely a sweet spot round about there. Let's try the alternative tubes. We'll get a green banner popping up here, but we can just ignore that. It's because I'm using screen recording software. Okay, in this instance I prefer the E83cc, and I do find that I quite often gravitate towards that, but the 1287 is there for those who want to use it. Let's play with the harmonics now. You see, on that side it just sounds rather crunchy to me, and some people might like it. It might work better in a mix, and it's there to be used. I just prefer the other side. Okay, I'll leave it there. I think it's a bit different to what I had before, but it sounds quite nice to me. And in my other demonstrations, I have experimented with the wet-dry mix. I don't think I need it here, but why not have a go with it and just see what happens? No, in this instance, I just want to leave it on the wet, and I would control the richness of the sound with the drive control. What I'll do now is play the track through, and I'll flick the bypass on and off. Here we go. Okay, there we have it, the Freqtube on real drums.